Backrooms proved something really important. And a part of what it proved is that Gen Z hasn't been catered to. It's not that they don't care about movies, guys. It's just that you guys haven't made a movie that they've wanted to see.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a bunch of scraps.
I am here to talk about horror again. In a cinematic landscape full of reboots and remakes and legacy sequels and franchises, horror feels kind of like a beacon of light to me right now, which is very exciting. It's a place where young and new voices can break through, and there's a simple reason for that, and it's because horror movies are historically pretty cheap. They're cheap, they're a pretty reliable ROI for studios and investors, which make it a playground, which make it something of a sandbox, which is really important for young artists to have. And here's the really cool thing. Backrooms, which is a horror movie directed by a 20-year-old, just beat a Star Wars movie at the box office this past weekend. And that is so rad. That makes me really happy. No offense to Grogu, I'm sure he's great. But it's really cool to see that something like that can happen. And if you think about Obsession, those two movies were the #1 and the #2 spot at the box office this past weekend, which is so cool. I think both these movies are really fun. They both have a lot to offer. I think Obsession is a little bit more fun. I think Backrooms has some really interesting ideas. We can get into it. But it makes me really happy to see these things doing so well. You can watch my video on Obsession. But basically, if you care about film, you need to start caring about horror. So many of the best movies from the past year and 2 years have been horror. From Sinners to 28 Years Later to The Bone Temple to Send Help and now to Backrooms and Obsession, there's some really cool stuff going on. And those are some movies that could not be more different. Like I said, horror is incredibly diverse. If you think you don't like horror, I'd suggest that you think again, because there's so many different shapes and forms and tones of a horror movie. You know, do you like social commentary and power dynamics? Go watch Send Help. Do you like zombies and gore and religion? Here's The Bone Temple. How do you feel about wishes and unrequited love? Can I interest you in Obsession? Or weird internet collective unconscious? A little Kubrick? A little Lynch? Here you have Backrooms. Whatever you want, there's something for everyone at the 2026 horror movie buffet. Please, come one, come all. Now, I've never considered myself particularly brave. I'm speaking to their scaredy cats in the room. I think this is very important to say. There's plenty of horror movies that I don't see out of self-protection. Quick story, when I was 6, I saw something that I should not have seen. I think a lot of people have this kind of story. It was a movie when I was flipping through the channels while my mom was combing my hair one night, and it gave me nightmares for months. Do I want to get into the details of this? I don't know if I do. Because I'm not going to play a clip from it because I'm not going to do that to myself. You can go look it up. The whole thing, I think, is on YouTube. It's a 90s movie called Star Kid. TLDR, a kid gets into like an exoskeleton suit of an alien. And then I remember this so vividly, even though I was like 6. The suit closes around him and then the seam disappears. And for some reason, that got into my little brain and I was terrified. Ask my mom, it was a bad couple of months for baby Katie. I missed school. Is that nuts? I missed school because I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was like haunting me. And it was a specific kind of fear that I kind of want to talk about. It wasn't a fun, titillating fear like a lot of horror movies can be. It was a very cold fear. Like it was a cold temperature fear. I felt it in my bones. I felt so alone in this fear. And I think that's because I had been channel surfing and I didn't know the name of the movie. I didn't know how to describe it. I felt more alone every time I tried to explain what I was feeling to people. And so I understand the power of a horror movie, and I'm not here to like make light of that. There's that kind of cold fear that is not fun. And that makes you feel really alone. I kind of would describe it as like I fell into myself to such a degree that if I screamed to my brain, it would make a noise. It was a very like isolating, cold temperature fear. If you want to watch the movie that messed me up, I'll link it down below. I will not be clicking on this link. The part that messed me up is around the 20-minute mark. You've been warned. Okay. Watch it's like not that scary. I just have a memory of a 6-year-old. Anyway, 10 years go by. I'm now a teenager. I'm going to slumber parties. I want to participate. I want to have fun. I want to watch scary movies with my friends. But I have this narrative in my head of like, oh, Katie can't handle horror movies. I'm a scaredy cat because I had this thing happen. But eventually, I wanted to watch a scary movie with my friend. The curiosity got the better of me. The drive, the teenage drive to be included that is powerful than most any force found on Earth. And so I dipped my toe in. I started, like a lot of people do, with meta horror. I think that's a really great entry point. Movies like Scream or Cabin in the Woods that can kind of teach you about the tropes and hold your hand. I loved them. I had so much fun as a little teenage Katie. I had a really great time. And it wasn't that kind of cold fear that I was describing. It was sort of a warm fear, like a bubbling, tense, tingling. Maybe you hold the hand of a boy that you think is cute while you scream, and it's like giggly and kind of a fun, exciting time. That's the kind of horror that I definitely advocate for. And only you know if it's a hot or a cold fear. Does this binary make sense to anyone but me? Who knows? After I kind of dipped my toe in, I started watching some of the classics, things like Halloween and Friday the 13th, some of the Freddy movies. I got really into Psycho at one point. I had such a thing for Norman Bates, which is very something an 18-year-old. I was 18 and it felt right. I actually had a Psycho poster on my wall, the one with Anthony Perkins' hand coming out. And when I was writing the script, it kind of occurred to me that was a really rude, thoughtless move on my part to subject that poster to my roommates every single day for a year. Probably not the nicest thing. Sorry about that, Nora and Shannon, wherever you are. God bless. Pretty intense thing for me to have done. Anyway, you know, if you've watched this channel before, you know that I'm kind of more a comedy person. That's been more my lane historically. But I think comedy and horror sometimes feel like the ugly stepchildren of the film industry, and they have a lot in common, right? They're two sides of the same coin. What makes us laugh? What scares the crap out of us? Sometimes it's not that different. And sometimes we don't know the answers to that question until we're confronted by it. A good comedian and a good horror director are one step ahead of the audience, and they know how to tap into fears and jokes that go in new or unexpected directions. That's really exciting. You know when you're at a comedy club and someone laughs at a joke and then you hear them say, "Oh, it's so true," right? That's like a great compliment for comedy because that means like you know it to be true, but you just hadn't put the pieces together before. That's a sign of a good joke. Horror is the same of like, oh my gosh, new fear unlocked. That's a thing people say on the internet. There's a reason for it. And not to keep banging this drum, but that's a big part of why folks from the comedy world are usually really good at horror because it's a lot of the same skills, baby. It's about tension. It's about timing. It's about release. It's about expectation. It's a lot of the same stuff. And it's about id. That's like a huge part of this equation. So much id, like, what's going on here? Did you laugh at a joke that you don't agree with? Does it make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? Maybe you need to investigate that a little bit. Hey, why are you so scared of this thing? Does it make you feel uncomfortable or bad or wrong to be scared of this? Maybe that's a question to ask yourself. Again, conscious, subconscious, there's a lot of fun stuff at play here. And again, like I said, I do not consider myself particularly brave. When I watched Barbarian, I had to take a cool 20-minute break in the middle to calm my heart rate down. After I went to go see Obsession, we went to get ice cream because we needed something. That's totally normal. But I think the important thing is to do it anyway and to do it scared because, like they say, you can only really be brave when you're scared because otherwise, what's brave about it, right? If you're not scared. So I'd encourage other scaredy cats out there to feel at liberty to cover your eyes. I cover my eyes in every single movie that I've named tonight, and I think that's totally fine. Pause. Take a breather. If you're at a movie theater, take a lap. Go chat up the concession stands guy. I don't know. Go take a breather. You're allowed to do that. And I want to encourage people to do that if that's the way that they can experience horror. Because this genre is really important right now. I know it's kind of lame, but can we talk numbers for just 1 second? Backrooms made $38 million on just Friday. I don't know if you know about box office numbers, but that's kind of nuts. They went on to have the best opening weekend that A24 has ever had. And by the time you watch this video, they've probably surpassed Marty Supreme as the top grossing movie. I mean, I'm sure they have if I've been looking at the numbers all day. Like, it's remarkable. It's really cool. And again, this is a movie directed by a 20-year-old. And what's even cooler is that 80% of those moviegoers this past weekend were under 35. And that makes me so happy. And I know that to be true anecdotally because damn if me and my friends didn't seem like the oldest people in that theater when we went on Friday. This should make us all really, really happy because I've been worried about the movies. I have. And for the first time in a long time, I'm feeling really hopeful. Backrooms proved something really important. And a part of what it proved is that Gen Z hasn't been catered to. It's not that they don't care about movies, guys. It's just that you guys haven't made a movie that they've wanted to see. My favorite movie of last year was a movie that I definitely covered my eyes during, at least once. I know the scene. It's the guy upside down. We don't need to talk about it. And it made me cry, and it was so beautiful, and I loved it so much, and that's 28 years later. That's incredible. You know, Nirvana, the band that showed the movie, is probably going to be my favorite of this year, but who's to say? There's some really good stuff going on, and I'm really, really happy about it. And it's only June, guys. It's only June. Anything can happen. I'm cautiously very optimistic for Stop That Train. I'm not that entrenched in drag culture, so I think I need to get somebody who knows that world to take me and explain every reference to me. But I fingers crossed, that seems like a big, fun, dumb kind of comedy. But yes, if you care about film, it's a really exciting time to get into horror, even if it's new for you, even if you need to cover your eyes. There's stuff happening in horror that you really can't be ignoring right now. So give it a try. It's a lot of fun. Don't push yourself too hard. You know, at the very, very least, we should all say a big thank you to horror. Give horror a great big kiss on its blood-splattered forehead for me. Thank you. Thank you very much.